here today by Victorian defender Josh Weddle. Thanks, Josh, for coming on.
Yeah, all good. It's my pleasure.
So first of all, for people that don't know you, you're a 192-centimetre intercept defender, but how would you describe yourself as a position player?
Well, I like to lock down players, tall forwards or small forwards, and I like to use my endurance to get up the field and try to create some offensive play. And yeah, I like to intercept the ball and break the line. With my speed.
So how's the nerves feeling with the draft only pretty much exactly now 2 weeks away?
I think they're definitely going to start up. I think when it gets a little bit closer, but I think I'm pretty chill right now. So,
are you happy to play in any state if that was the case outside of Victoria?
I'm pretty excited. So yeah, I don't really mind.
How many clubs have you spoken to, and who have you spoken to the most, you reckon?
So I've spoken to all 18 clubs, and I think I've spoken to, Hawthorn the most.
Obviously, they're probably a club that are, as you say, they're looking for an intercept defender, so that would make perfect sense there. So you mentioned Hawthorn. Have they given you any form of indication that they may consider you at that pick, or are they keeping it pretty quiet as well?
They haven't really given much away, so they're not really giving too much.
What team did you barrack for when growing up as a kid?
I go for North. Pretty disappointing the past few years, but hopefully we can turn around soon. So,
any favourite players?
I love Tom Stewart and Nat Fyfe.
Would the Tom Stewart comparison be fair to say that's the type of comparison, if you want to compare an AFL player, that's the type of player you would describe yourself as, if you can use an example?
Yeah, definitely.
This has been an interesting question for a lot of people, especially for draftees like yourself. Has there been any weird questions that recruiters have asked you? Because also we know in the past, for some examples, one example was they've been asked, if you were a car, what car would you be? Have you been asked any type of weird questions or questions that you may think that's a bit odd?
Not really. Mostly just like I've been asked what's my favorite food.
Okay.
Not really any weird ones. Like I think I get asked occasionally like, oh, who would you take in the draft?
Okay.
If I was like a recruiter. But yeah, not really any curveballs yet. So
I had Mateus and Ruben Ginby on yesterday, and Rube said that he was asked 6 people he would invite to dinner. So I found some of these questions are really odd, and they get them out of nowhere. So next question I got for you is any advice that you've been given by any of your coaches? Obviously, you've been in Victoria, so you've had a fair bit of coaches as well. Has there been any particular advice that stuck out to you that you've taken along the way throughout your journey so far?
Yeah, definitely. So the Oakley coach, Jason Davenport, pretty much gave him the advice of if you make a mistake, just learn from it and just keep moving forward and move on, as all the best players make mistakes, and the best ones always learn from them and move on and try not to do it again. So yeah, that's definitely been something I've put to the test in the past few months, and yeah, it's been pretty helpful, I reckon.
If you've got any more questions for Will, guys, for Josh, guys, please send them down in the comment section before. When I spoke to Mateus, he had a lot of self-confidence about himself, but when I spoke to Rubes, he was trying to be pretty conservative about himself. When you're talking about yourself, are you a bit more conservative as well?
I would say so. I try not to get too much ahead of myself, because nothing's a certainty. But I think you got to have a little bit of self-confidence in this sort of world. I think trying to stay conservative most of the time is normally the best option.
So outside of Will Ashcroft, who would you say is the best player in this year's draft?
I reckon Elijah.
Oh, yeah, Sardis.
Yeah.
Do you have any superstitions about when you're playing games?
No, I got none.
No. Fair enough. If you got any, okay, here's some questions. Favorite player you've played with in the Vic side?
In the Vic side,
Yeah.
it probably would have to be Will Ashcroft.
Nice shot. Josh, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and hopefully your dream gets realised in a few weeks' time, and you know, one of the club that you want to go at and have a long, successful career for that club. So really appreciate you coming on, Josh.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Josh.